Hi guys, welcome back to this blog about learning Power Apps. My name is Paul Kroon and I'm gonna be your host today. And what we're gonna do in this video is go on where we left off the last video. And in the last video we make a list based on enhanced groups, some controls like labels and text input, and a gallery which basically is set up as a table or list, whatever you like to call them. And I didn't like some topics about how I build this solution. And let's go to PowerApps to show you what I didn't like. I really didn't like this part. So I was building some on some big projects, and this was very time consuming. And I tried to make up another approach for this, which basically make this not necessary anymore. So I'm gonna show you that. And also I was doing a lot of configuration on all the controls. So I had another concept introduced, which basically replace all the different places I have to set up my values. So let's first go to PowerPoint so I can tell you those two concepts, which basically are going to improve the last video. So it's an addition and it's a modification on how I do things on this moment. So the first concept is the parent-child concept. And when you look at my apps, I have a screen. On the screen I have a enhanced group. In the enhanced group I have another enhanced group for the menu. Then I have a enhanced group to contain my list. In that list I have a title, a header, filters, and a enhanced group for my gallery. And in those groups I have or labels or a gallery itself. So basically when you look at the first layer, layer 1, it's a parent and has a child, which is the menu 1100. But basically the menu is also a parent from the child within. And let's say we now have the gallery group, which is basically a parent again for the gallery in the gallery group, and in the gallery itself there are childs. And the other concept is the concept of how setting my colors. And I saw that in my apps I have basically a color scheme which is all in the app. And when I want to have an orange theme set to a blue theme, I use an orange theme because my company colors are orange. But when I have a company which wants to have a blue theme, I can now set it by change just one control. And I think that's easy to do. So we have base controls and we have the elements like enhanced groups and or controls feeding on those base colors. It also makes it easy, and I'm going to show you that, to make different color schemes in your app by just introducing a switch formula which you trigger on a button with a number variable, for example. So now let's go to our app and show you how I do this. So first let's go to the base colors. So what I have made is a app for color scheme with a simple sequence of formulas. And let's go to Notepad to show you how this is built, because I use Notepad a lot to do this kind of modification, because it's basically easier. And when you do that, you have to set the value to Visual Basic as a language setting, and then you get this nice formatted list of controls. So what I do here is that for the design I set a list of base colors, and you see I have black, white, transparent, orange, gray dark for the title, gray normal, gray light for the headers and the filters. Then I set some design elements for the whole app, like the app border color or the app font, and you see those are fed by the base colors. So when I gonna change the base color to blue, and I'm gonna do that right now, then you're gonna see the border colors in all the apps are changing. So here the same design for the gallery, and the gallery has a title, so I want to have some elements for titles, I want to have some element for my header and for my filter. And then You see here some more for the gallery data. So the border color in the data section can be a little bit different. So when I say I want to have everything orange, but for the data I want to have blue lines or gray lines, I can do that. Also, I set the border thickness to 0, so we don't see borders, but it's easy to set this to 1. And let's do that on this moment, so you can see what's happening. And then, of course, we have to set the color to a color, else we ain't gonna see anything. And you see the fill for the data is a little bit different because I like it transparent, where I like the other fills, the background fills, to be white. And I have here a section on statuses and whether a line in the gallery is selected. And I want to show that with colors, and you're gonna see that in just one moment how that works. And the same for the form. And then here I have the chevron fill, some extra elements, because the chevron is sometimes a little bit different. So let's copy this part, go to the app and say in the color scheme, select what's in there now and paste it. And now it's changed. So let's run our app and select our color. And you see we got everything blue, we got lines on the data. And let's show you what I mean by changing this. By getting the right thing and say I want to have the crane normal for the data lines. So instead of orange, I want this to have another color. Go back to the app and pick the color scheme. Run it, I think, 2 times. Okay, I think I haven't changed this on this moment. So let's see. The border color is the data border color. So it should change. So maybe I didn't copy it right. Data border color is border color 6 gray normal. And let's see if gray normal is different than blue. Yeah, it's the case. So let's copy this again, and this should work, I would say. And normally it does. Oh. Did another control in there which I don't need. Let's run this app. Okay, I don't understand why this is keeping blue, because normally it would be a gray color. But I think we make a mistake in our function. So let's see where the mistake is. This is all right. This is all right. Where did I go wrong? BaseColor 4. Let's go to here to see where our error is. Okay, light blue. You see, I didn't check this on this moment, and I make a typo. So now it's okay. Let's run the app and change our colors. Oh, I changed the form border color and not the gallery border color. So there's my error. And now you see we got gray lines. And the really back end I didn't change. So let's do that also. Let's change this label. Border color, border color. Let's do it on the right to the gallery data border color, and do that for all the border colors we have. And now you see we have gray lines instead of a blue, which it's a little different than the blue one. So if you like that, we can do it like this. So that's on the colors. Now see how we do the parent-child concept. So basically what happens, this one is on the surface of our screen. So let's do the event. So this is on the surface on the screen. We can't give the screen a border color because there is no border color here. We can do the app backgrounds. And of course we could call it the app fill if we want to. And then we can go to the first enhance layer. And you see here, I have here set the app border color and the border style to solid and the border thickness based on my color scheme. And also the fill on the border background. Then when we go to the next enhance group, so the container in our container, for the menu, we see this is set to the parent, the parent, the parent, the parent, and the parent height. So the parent is used all over this control. Then we have our list container, and it's also set to the parent. We have our title container set to the parent again. Only the fill is a different color. It's the dark gray color, the gallery fill. When we look at the controls in there, we see that the parent is also providing the border color and providing the fill. The only thing we can do is set the color to the enhanced template because the enhanced template has no color property. So on the label, it's not really a big deal, but when you have a lot of controls for the header or the filter, it would be a nice addition to add a color property to enhance group and not to set a color to the text of the enhance group because it doesn't have text, but to use it as a parent-child relationships from bottom and down. So I make a request here in the ID board, and maybe you can vote for this. And here I explain that we have an enhanced child attributes. We can get all the attributes like a border color and fill, but we have to set the color to the control itself instead of a parent where we can set it to. So I will put this in the description and maybe you can vote for this. So we have a very nice addition on the way I build my apps, or we build our apps, maybe. Okay, so that's one. So now maybe you ask, why don't you put in a component here? And I really would like it because I like the concept that we don't have to set all this, but we can have a component which are on this way connected to add the label to the component container in this moment. And I also can say I want to have a border color, just one attribute, set to a component. One problem with the component is that I can't put it on this moment in an enhanced group. So the component is always as a container on the screen of our apps, which makes it useless in the way I build apps. So I have an idea for that also. What I want and why I want it, maybe you can vote for this also. And I will put a link to this ID in the description of this video. So I hope you all vote. So I think one thing to address maybe is this label. So I have a gallery and I put a label here which is basically set for the X and the Y to 0 and then for the parent width and the parent height. So the whole gallery is always filled with this label control, and the label control I just use to set a color when the label is selected. So when we look at the fill property, it's simple, is selected, the gallery data selected, or the parent fill. And it's as easy as that. And Basically, I use this also as a separator, because the separator normally, when the PowerApps is built, is a what is it? It's an icon, and it's a rectangle. It's a rectangle icon. But I really like a label more, because it has a border color or each around them, and when you set it to the width and the height of the gallery, the border color is always neatly on the bottom of your list. So basically that's why I use a label over a separator. And also the separator has to be always on the top to really work, and sometimes it's not visible when you have a lot of lines, and I don't like it very much. And I notice that a label, when you have the border colors on the label, they are always visible, always in the same height and size, and always very neat. So when we look now at our control, we have a very solid, nice list, I think, and very easy to maintain. And I built some screens lately, and to set up these screens from scratch. So make an enhanced group and connect it to the border color, then put in a group for the title, put in a group for the header and for the label and for the gallery. It took me about 5 minutes to set it up, which is pretty fast, I think. So that's it for now, I think. And in the next video, we're gonna look at the form. Basically, we're gonna set it up from scratch, and you will see that we can set it up very easy and very fast in this manner. Okay, thank you for watching. If you like this, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.